So again, super producer Justin, thank you. We spoke a bit about Botega with Jason. What'd you think, Vinny? How'd the conversation go?
I think it went well. I think he's going to do great over there.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah, he's got a lot of drive. He's got good energy.
Yeah, food's good. Drinks are good.
The pizza was amazing.
Yeah. So, new restaurant opened mid-pandemic, and he's got another one coming over on Mill Plain Road in Danbury, scheduled to open, I guess, September-ish of 2021. And then a little birdie told me we're working on one that probably would be scheduled to open spring of 2022 as well, but he wasn't comfortable talking about it, but I'm going to blow his cover. But yeah, it's a great group. He's got Rice and Beans food truck.
Where is that?
That's he's everywhere. It's a food truck, so he drives it wherever
everywhere.
you go. But
That's cool.
most of his base of his clientele, Bethel, Danbury, Newtown. It seems like everywhere I go, I run into him, and everyone knows him.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like either getting his hair cut somewhere, but he's quite the personality, and he's a good guy. Such a nice guy. That's
Such
why.
a nice guy,
Such a
yeah.
nice guy. That's like obviously the name of the podcast. It's why we chose him for this episode because it's very fitting.
Yeah.
But also a great businessman. Like you said, previous to your point, a lot of energy, great energy, very positive, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So, and the food's outstanding, and
Customer service was great.
yeah, everything's awesome, and it translates. I think when you have somebody at the top that feels that way and really believes in the product and cares about the guests as he does, it translates all the way down through the staff. It's the same that I think we have problems when there's someone that may not be, when there's ownership that's not super happy with where they are. You can see that in the staff, and they're not, it just isn't the same experience. With someone that is, it's definitely contagious, and you could see his staff was really excited to be there, and that makes for a better experience all around. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So we look forward to the next one. Right now, as we said, Jason was gracious enough to give a $50 gift card to anyone that wants to watch the podcast, subscribe, like, share. We're going to load them all into a thing and pick somebody within a week to win that gift card, and hopefully everyone that else that sees it feels that energy as well and wants to go down and try the place out. And hopefully we're doing the next podcast at Craft, which is his next project on Mill Plain.
That should be great, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks so much, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. All right, so we're here at Botega,
Italian Kitchen and Bar.
Botega Italian Kitchen and Bar in Bethel, Connecticut. Yep. We've got Vinny, we got Jason. Jason's the proprietor here, and has been in the restaurant industry for quite some time. Been a little crazy, probably crazy for his whole restaurant career, but a little crazier over the last year or so. But how'd you get started in this? What was your tell us about your first restaurant job.
First restaurant job was in Black Rock in Bridgeport. So I was bartending. I decided to start working in a restaurant. I was a nurse's aide doing overnights during college, and I just very hard working 11 to 7, taking care of people with dementia, things like that. So I took the bartending course in Fairfield, and then started looking for work. Never worked in a restaurant before, but finally got a job, and it was a Black Rock at like a hole-in-the-wall bar.
What was it called?
It's called Little Joe's. Little Joe's. We didn't serve food. It was just, we said we served food, but we didn't serve food. Just all alcohol. It had a pool table in the back and like a jukebox, and that was one of the best year of my life as far as like, getting into the restaurants and the excitement and different people and feeling like you're working but you're not working. You're at work but you're able to meet people and you're hanging out. You get paid to hang out. Yeah, you get paid to hang out, and that's
your
when
hours changed a little from like 11 at night till 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
to 7 at night till 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning. Yeah. So that's where I got sucked into this restaurant industry. Bartender for the last 10 years after that. So started bartending at 20, and then 8 years of bartending. I was bartending in Sanford, and when I was 28, I decided to open up a food truck. Again, not knowing anything, I wasn't a chef or anything like that, but not knowing anything about cooking. But I decided I want to branch off of what I'm doing, and that kind of was my way to be a business owner on a budget. So I decided that a food truck was the way to go. So I started Rice and Beans in 2016. 3 years, saw a lot of success in that, and then started looking for a space to make a Rice and Beans. But in the process of doing that, I guess everything worked out. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. While I was operating the food truck, I would operate it seasonally. So I would just work from May to October, and then from October to the next May, I would bartend. So I would look for work. Ended up working at Square One, which my partner owns, Mike. So that's how we started a relationship. I did know Mike beforehand because I would always go to Square One after I was working down at a restaurant on the road, and I would go to Square One after work. So I worked for Mike for 2 years, for those 6 months out of the year that I wasn't operating the food truck. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, listen, I'm looking for brick and mortar Rice and Beans. Obviously, the price tag for a location isn't the cheapest, so I was looking for a partner to go half and half on it.
Yeah.
And we started looking for spaces. In this area, not that many businesses go out of business, so it was quite a challenge looking for the right spot. You can't just pick a spot, and that's not how it goes. You have to find the spot, and so looking for a spot, and
For a couple,
yeah.
when you say that, it was like at least a couple years, because I think I met you a couple years before you signed the lease at Botega.
Yeah.
Looking for a spot. We were trying to find stuff, and it, when there are locations that come available in this area, there's usually like a giant red flag attached to it, whether the rent being just way too high, or the the space just needing way too much work, being really run down, or the location just not being quite right. Finding the right spot is really, really tough in an area that is just, where the restaurants are super successcul. So.
Well, one thing I learned was that the spots are taken before they're even available. And that to me was like, I was mind blown, because I was like, even other people were like, oh, when we moved into here, they were like, how does one day to the next something just, another person have ownership of it? I was like, well,
it's true. Most of our more successful deals are done without anyone knowing about them other than the tenant and the landlord, and it's seamless. And then the public finds out about it 3, 4, 5 months later, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear so and so's taking that?"
Yeah.
And, yeah, well, we knew about it
Yeah.
a while ago, but it is the good inventory. You're not going to find just hopping on LoopNet or on BizBuySell or any of those other Craigslist.
Well, I think honestly, it was probably one of the easiest things, and I tell this to everybody. When, people, I guess every situation is different. When you buy a house or whatever, like people have a tough time doing it. People have an easy time. But this getting into this space was probably like super, seamless, and there was nothing. Maybe thanks to you for the communication with the Scalzos and stuff like that. It felt like,
The hardest part is identifying the space. Once it's the right space, the other stuff is easy, and then the fun starts afterwards, because then it's you're there, you get a weak sigh of relief, like yes, we finally signed the lease, we found the space, and then it's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we got the keys, looked in the space. We were thinking maybe keeping a lot of things the same, and I guess not spending a ton of money. Obviously, we're here now, and we completely redid the space, and way more, triple than what we thought we were gonna spend here is here now. But we moved to the space October 1st, 2019. Started working on it, and then we're about 75%, 60% done with the project, and then, you know, coronavirus comes to town.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that was March-ish. And if there was no coronavirus, you probably could have opened.
June, probably.
Yeah.
I'd say. Maybe before that. I think it was very strange times for that first month where everything was like shut down, and we were like, all right, the rest of the project costs this much. You know, or what's going on? You hear on the news all the bad news about this industry being over and the world's going to, you know.
Yeah.
But we decided to keep it going and just like tunnel vision to just like, you need to open it up anyways, so just like, it is what it is. Luckily, in the summertime, we started to see like, you know, some good news.
Yep.
Being able to do takeout on South Maya, it's gonna take a turn to like, it's gonna be good. Even though, honestly, when we first opened up, which was September 28th of 2020, we figured it was gonna be like okay. We're like, all right, like as long as we can pay the bills and like survive for like 2 years and just like the place just stays open, that's cool. It's not a failure, but luckily we didn't have to deal. I think it was good for us in our situation, the fact that we weren't done yet, because we didn't have to open with the restrictions of takeout only, or you know, dealing with the staffing the kitchen, and I can't imagine that's a nightmare in itself. When we opened up, the restrictions were just capacity and masks and everything else that's still in place. So it felt as normal as it could be when we opened up. So that kind of helped us as far as like, you know, people coming in, and it was a success since we opened up. We haven't really felt the you know, yeah, we haven't really been punched in the gut by Corona because of like, you know, so that's kind of in our experience.
That's a good thing.
And did you miss the whole 2020 season with the food truck, or were you able to get that out?
Yeah, I mean, everything was canceled, weddings, graduations. We were doing apartment buildings, which was, this whole COVID thing made you feel like you couldn't breathe the air outside. So it was even scary going outside and feeding people at an apartment building. But luckily, like, people were responsive. You know, people were supportive. We did a couple local apartment complexes in the area. So, but then again, it was like once or twice a week. It wasn't like the 6-day week that we would normally have in the summertime. But that was enough to you know, pay the bills. So for this year, the food truck is closed. We'll start operating again next year.
You're not even going to shoot through this summer?
No. We're opening up a second location, not for this, but
over
a sister restaurant.
Mill Plain.
On Mill Plain Road. So that's going to take enough.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up after you. This was such a trial and took so long and cost you 3 times as much, and you open up in the middle of a pandemic. And then what's the first thing that you do when the next location pops up that is a good location? You go and you sign a lease immediately before anyone knows that it even hit the market. So you gluttons for punishment. But that's exciting.
Super
another
exciting.
Danbury location for a completely different concept. And then, you know, we're still looking for others as well on a daily basis. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's who you know, right?
Yeah.
I got a great, ambitious partner, and you know, it's good to, you know, once you like decide that, you know, you're gonna make this a lifestyle.
Stay with it.
Yeah, you stick with it, and you know, opportunities come. Especially now, there's a lot of opportunities out there, so you just gotta take advantage of them.
I think as the dust settles a little bit, I think that some of them are going to start showing themselves a little bit more. Like one of the most challenging aspects to post-pandemic restaurant running has been staffing. That's literally every one of our clients is running into that issue. Some are actually closing on Mondays, closing earlier, not opening for lunch just because the staffing issues have been tough. And that's more kind of, especially in those more remote areas, not in these crazy busy corridors. But are you running into that issue?
Luckily, when we opened, we're blessed to have, you know, the staff that we originally hired are still, every single one is still with us. I'm hoping that's because of, you know, us, how we, you know, treat our staff. But I know for what we're gonna start hiring in 3 weeks for the other place, I think we might see that being a little bit more difficult because, you know, the outside things that are going on, people still collecting unemployment, things like that. And who would want to come back to work, you know? So luckily now, I think the biggest thing that restaurant owners are facing is staffing in the kitchen. There isn't many cooks out there that are looking for work because all the good ones are taken. So that's kind of where the pool is very, very small.
What are you doing? I mean, as far as to combat that, is it just like a matter of just paying more, or is it offering a kind of a safe, happy, good work environment?
It's definitely
a mixture of the two.
A mixture of the two, but a lot of people are going towards the paying more. So people are definitely being overpaid now more than ever to do the same job, because if you don't pay them, they'll just say we're leaving. You know, we're going somewhere here where they're getting paid more, and that's the game we're playing now.
So what we've noticed is with like the minimum wage coming up, coupled with having to pay more, what we've seen is those $10 an hour guys a couple of years ago are now getting $12 an hour. The $12 an hour, you know, lower end line cooks are then saying, well, I'm not, you know, I'm worth more than that guy, so we got to pay him $14 an hour. And what it seems to be is eventually your budget hits a line where it's, I can't, you know, you can then say, hey, I can pay you $18 an hour, but I'm only going to have, you know, I'm going to have one less guy back there, so we need you to pick up the slack on some of the work.
Yeah, I mean, I had the conversation with one of my guys back there the other day. He wanted more, and he said, you know, I told him, I was like, listen, we can settle on this, and after that, I can't do anything for you, because then you're putting me in a position where, you know, I can't go there. I'm letting you know what. And I even showed him actually, and it was actually the pizza side, and I showed him, like, listen, this is the side of the pizza business. This is what we sell in pizzas, and this is what the salary. This is what dictates. The sales dictate the salaries. So this is what we have. You know, this is how I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, the job doesn't exist if the restaurant doesn't exist to offer the job, and if the restaurant can't afford those salaries. This is what we can pay you.
So. And he's all right. So we understood that at least, but I'm sure there's somebody else calling him saying that they can pay him more. But it is what it is, I guess, you know.
It's going to be interesting. I think the PPP money was really great, and it helped restaurants through a period that there was zero chance that a lot of them would have survived without it. And that means that a lot of folks that would have lost their jobs didn't lose their jobs because of it. So that's really great. People that wanted to go to work could go to work. I think now more than ever, people that want to go to work can absolutely find work in the restaurant industry, especially in Fairfield County. There are more jobs than there are people that want to work, which is great. I see, you know, as we get into the fall and the unemployment starts to run down and the PPP money and some of this grant money isn't there anymore, I think a lot of those restaurants have been just sort of hanging on through all of this, may start to close. There'll be opportunity for folks to find new locations, but I don't know if there's going to be as many jobs available. And I know a lot of us are trying to find creative ways to get around needing more staff because we don't have the staff. And the consumer has been very understanding to longer ticket times, slower waits, which has been very positive. The guest is way less demanding. They were pre-COVID, so it's been that's been a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, you know, as long as your food quality is good and you're doing it with a smile, everybody feels safe. It's been a really positive experience. So
the hardest part is like getting into the busy season, which is just right now, the summertime, and not having the staff, because you can't hire people for 2 months.
Expanding all your outside dining.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I think the challenge right now for everybody is that it's getting busier, and then you're missing that 1 or 2 extra people to help you out on those busy days. But you know, it just is what it is. But again, to your point, people being more understanding. I think that's also kind of going away now. People are back to like, it's 40 minutes. Where's my food? Like,
chop.
people are chop chop. Like you guys, and I think also with the restaurant relief and all that stuff, people are more like, in a sense, like, wait, you guys got all this money, like, where all the people, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what. But I don't know. I feel like after all the restrictions get lifted on the 19th, is it or
20 or 19th? Yeah, 19th.
I think it'll completely feel like finally normal. And but
as normal as it can. Yes, that's good. So, what are the next big plans? Any towns you're targeting that you can talk about? Of interest?
Yeah, we were trying to get the Danbury place done, and then once that's done, we can start looking for, down in 95 on the Gold Coast, or what they call it. That'd be nice to go down there and have something outside of like that's local. It's cool to.
What's your timeline for the Danbury restaurant?
We'll open up in 6 weeks.
Quick one.
Yeah, mid-June. We'll open up mid-June for sure.
Okay.
Just in time for the good weather. And see how that goes. Hopefully, if that's good, then
Move on to the next one. All right, it's awesome. Well, we thank you for your time. Even with customers in the house, it's tough probably to sit here and watch your staff running around and not be able to help them. So we'll let you get back to work, but appreciate everything and look forward to hearing more about the future of Botega and the other projects you're working on.
Yeah, we'll be at Craft next time.
All right, sounds good.